The sparkling blue dream. Lily skipped through the echoing rooms, the keys jingling in her hand like a celebratory chime. Finally, a place of her own. A place where she could paint the walls any color she wanted, blast her favorite music, and, most importantly, swim whenever the mood struck. She pushed open the sliding glass door that led to the backyard, and her breath caught. There it was, shimmering under the afternoon sun, a sparkling blue dream. The pool was bigger than she remembered from the listing photos, the water an inviting turquoise. She could practically feel the cool water against her skin. Without a second thought, she raced back inside, shedding her jeans and t-shirt in a flurry of excitement. In her swimsuit, she practically flew back outside and dove in. The water was perfect, not too cold, not too warm. Lily surfaced, laughing, and pushed a stray strand of hair from her face. She did a few lazy laps, enjoying the feeling of weightlessness. As she floated on her back, gazing at the cloudless sky, she noticed a figure standing at the edge of the yard, near the fence. Mrs. Crabtree, her next-door neighbor, was watching her. Lily offered a small wave, but Mrs. Crabtree didn't respond. She just stood there, arms crossed, her expression unreadable. Lily shrugged it off, assuming she was just curious about the new neighbor. Lily ducked underwater, holding her breath and letting the silence envelop her. When she resurfaced, Mrs. Crabtree was no longer at the fence. Lily frowned, a prickle of unease settling in her stomach. Where had she gone? Suddenly, a shadow fell over her. Lily gasped and spun around. Mrs. Crabtree was standing at the shallow end of the pool, fully clothed in a floral dress and sensible shoes, her pursed lips tight. The HOA regulations clearly state pool hours are from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Mrs. Crabtree announced, her voice sharp. It is currently 6:05, Miss Bloom. Then, without waiting for a response, she stepped into the pool, the hem of her dress immediately darkening with water. And furthermore, proper swimming attire is required. HOA rules. The chlorine stung Lily's nostrils as she approached the shallow end. Mrs. Crabtree, perched on the edge with her feet dangling in the water, looked like a disgruntled heron. Lily forced a smile. Mrs. Crabtree? The pool's closed until noon for cleaning. Mrs. Crabtree adjusted her enormous sunglasses. Nonsense, dear. As HOA president, I have certain privileges. She splashed her feet, sending a spray of water towards Lily. It's important I test the pH balance myself. Can't trust just anyone, you know. Lily bit back a frustrated sigh. But the sign and the rules clearly state HOA rules, Mrs. Crabtree interrupted, waving a dismissive hand. I practically am the HOA rules, dear. Besides, it's dreadfully hot. A quick dip will do me good. Lily retreated to the clubhouse, the scent of stale coffee hanging heavy in the air. She yanked the thick HOA rulebook from the shelf, its spine cracked and faded. Skimming the index, she found the section on pool regulations. There it was, in black and white, pool closed for cleaning and maintenance between 7 a.m. and 12 p.m. daily. No exceptions. A wave of helplessness washed over her. Confronting Mrs. Crabtree again felt pointless. The woman was immovable, a granite monument to self-importance. But the blatant disregard for the rules gnawed at Lily. This wasn't just about a swim, it was about power, about Mrs. Crabtree thinking she was above everyone else. Lily slammed the book shut. Something had to be done. The tinkerer's workshop. The air in Tom's workshop vibrated with the hum of half-finished projects. Gears, wires, and salvaged components littered every surface, catching the afternoon sun streaming through the single dusty window. The scent of solder and ozone hung heavy, a peculiar perfume only Tom could appreciate. So, Mrs. Crabtree is still at it? Tom asked, his brow furrowed as he tinkered with a small, whirring device. Lily perched on an overturned bucket, watching him. Worse, actually, she explained, recounting the latest pool invasion. She said I was being selfish, keeping the pool to myself. And then she adjusted the thermostat. Tom stopped fiddling, a spark of ingenuity igniting in his eyes. A thermostat war, eh? We can't have that. It's barbaric. We need finesse. He paced amongst his creations, a whirlwind of ideas visibly brewing. What if we could subtly alter the water temperature? Not enough to cause harm, of course, but enough to discourage lengthy swims. Lily's eyes widened. You mean make it uncomfortably cold, or maybe even a little too warm? Precisely. Tom grabbed a notepad and began sketching furiously. A localized temperature flux. We could tap into the existing plumbing, reroute a small portion through a Peltier junction array. Controlled remotely, of course. A few degrees either way, just enough to send her scurrying for her towel. A manic grin spread across his face. Operation Polar Plunge, or maybe Operation Hot Tub Time Machine. Operation Icy Hot Pool. Operation Icy Hot Pool, Tom announced, brandishing a rusty garden hose like a trophy. Phase 1 complete. Lily winced. Couldn't we have gotten a new hose? That one looks like it's been through a war. Adds character, Tom countered, winking. Besides, it was free. Mr. Henderson was throwing it out. They laid out their arsenal, the hose, a programmable sprinkler timer pilfered from Tom's shed, several lengths of black PVC pipe, and most importantly, access to the water heater in the pool house basement. A privilege granted by a distracted maintenance worker and a convincing tale about needing to test the pool's emergency shutoff system. Okay, so the plan, Lily began, sketching in the dirt with a twig. Cold water from the hose, timed for maximum discomfort. Then BM. Hot water surge courtesy of our friend the water heater. We reroute the existing jets to alternate between the two. Tom nodded, his eyes gleaming. The sprinkler timer controls the valve, switching between the hose and the hot water line. PVC pipes snake discreetly behind the bushes, invisible to the casual Karen gaze. Lily bit her lip. Are you sure this is going to work? And that it won't, electrocute anyone. Tom, ever the optimist, waved her concerns away. Relax, Lillipad. I've triple-checked the wiring. It's practically foolproof. They began assembling the system, Lily meticulously camouflaging the PVC pipes with strategically placed foliage. The air hung thick with the scent of chlorine and damp earth. Each snip of the hose, each tightening of a clamp ratcheted up the tension. This was it. They were committed. There was no turning back. The first test. Tom flipped the final switch, a repurposed toggle from a broken blender he'd found in the trash. Here we go, he muttered, his knuckles white as he gripped the control panel, a breadboard haphazardly glued to a piece of plywood. Lily peered anxiously at the pool. The surface, previously undisturbed, now shimmered, tiny ripples forming. Is it working? She whispered, clutching her arm. The air hung heavy with the threat of rain, and the pool still held the icy bite of the previous night. A digital thermometer, stuck to the side of the pool with suction cups, blinked. 58. 59. 60. The numbers crawled upward. Slowly but surely, Tom said, adjusting a dial. A faint hum emanated from the complex of wires and pipes they'd hidden beneath a strategically placed bush. 65. 70. Lily's breath hitched. She dipped a toe tentatively into the water. It's warmer, she said, surprised. The numbers climbed faster now. 80. 90. A wisp of steam curled from the surface. 100. 102. Okay. Tom shouted, throwing the switch back to its original position. That's enough. We don't want to cook any unsuspecting, he trailed off, picturing Mrs. Crabtree. The thermometer settled at a comfortable 104 degrees. Lily plunged her hand in, a wide grin spreading across her face. It works, Tom. It actually works. The pool was now a steaming oasis, a stark contrast to the dreary, overcast day. Confidence surged through her. This wasn't just a prank, it was a solution. Mrs. Crabtree wouldn't know what hit her. Crabtree's chill. The sun beat down on the turquoise water, and Mrs. Crabtree sighed contentedly as she lowered herself into the pool. The HOA meeting had been particularly draining, what with the Bloom boys' outlandish suggestions for community garden gnomes. Peace, finally. She floated on her back, eyes closed, soaking in the warmth. From behind the overgrown bougainvillea, Tom adjusted his glasses, a bead of sweat trickling down his temple. Ready, Lily? He whispered, his voice barely audible above the buzzing of the cicadas. Lily chewed her lip, her gaze fixed on Mrs. Crabtree's blissfully unaware figure. Almost. Are you sure this won't, actually hurt her? Tom fiddled with the device, a repurposed thermostat wired to the pool's heating and cooling system. Just a shock. Think of it as a very brisk wake-up call. Besides, he added, a mischievous glint in his eye, she's the one trespassing. Lily took a deep breath. Okay, do it. Tom pressed the button. A barely perceptible hum emanated from the pool equipment room. A few seconds later, Mrs. Crabtree yelped, the sound cutting through the tranquil air. She scrambled upright, her face contorted in disbelief as the water around her turned an impossible, teeth-chattering cold. Hot seat. Mrs. Crabtree lowered herself further into the shallow end, her face a mask of pinched disapproval. She crossed her arms, shivering slightly. Honestly, she muttered, loud enough for everyone within 10 feet to hear, you'd think with the association fees we pay, they could afford to heat the water properly. She was just taking a breath, ready to launch into a full-blown complaint about budgetary mismanagement when Tom gave Lily a subtle nod. Lily, perched on the edge of the pool deck near the equipment shed, flipped the lever she'd been guarding. A low hum vibrated from the shed, almost imperceptible beneath the splash of the pool. Suddenly, Mrs. Crabtree yelped, a high-pitched sound that sliced through the afternoon air. She scrambled to her feet, her face now bright red, and began flapping her hands in front of her. It's scalding. Scalding, she shrieked, backing away from the source of the now uncomfortably warm water. She lurched out of the pool with surprising speed for a woman her age, her swimsuit clinging to her like a second skin. Water streamed from her face, plastering her hair to her forehead. She sputtered, pointing a shaking finger at the pool. Unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. With a final glare at the startled onlookers, she grabbed her towel from a nearby lounge chair and marched off towards the clubhouse, muttering about lawsuits and negligence. The air hung thick with the scent of chlorine and the lingering echo of her outrage. An apology and a truce. Mrs. Crabtree stood at the edge of the pool deck, her face a roadmap of bewilderment. Gone was the usual flinty glare, in its place a sheepish uncertainty. She wrung her hands, the sound oddly loud in the afternoon quiet. "Lily? Tom," she began, her voice uncharacteristically subdued. I owe you both an apology." Lily and Tom exchanged a wary glance. Tom fiddled with the strap of his goggles, the silence stretching taut. "It appears," Mrs. Crabtree continued, her gaze darting around as if expecting someone to contradict her, "that I was mistaken about the pool rules." A collective intake of breath rippled through the small crowd that had gathered, drawn by the unusual spectacle. Even the cicadas seemed to pause their buzzing in anticipation. "I found the original HOA bylaws," she mumbled, pulling a crumpled document from her oversized purse. "Turns out the pool hours do extend to 9 p.m. on weekends. And guests are allowed with a resident present." Her shoulders slumped. "I was overzealous. I trespassed. And I was rude." She looked directly at Lily, her eyes holding a flicker of genuine regret. "I am truly sorry, Lily. For the disruption, the accusations, everything." Lily, surprised by the sincerity in Mrs. Crabtree's voice, felt a wave of relief wash over her. "Thank you, Mrs. Crabtree," she said, a small smile forming on her face. "Apology accepted." Mrs. Crabtree managed a weak smile in return. "I promise to abide by the rules going forward. And perhaps a peace offering? Ice cream for everyone. A peaceful swim." Lily flipped the final switch, a tiny click echoing in the pump house. "That should do it," she said, brushing a stray strand of hair from her face. "Back to normal pool temperatures." Tom grinned, adjusting his goggles. "Operation Heatwave Hijack is officially over." He skipped ahead, already halfway to the pool. The water shimmered invitingly under the afternoon sun. No longer a menacing mirage of scalding steam or icy shock. They slipped into the pool, a collective sigh escaping their lips. It was perfect, comfortably warm, refreshing, and exactly what a summer swim should be. Lily floated on her back, watching the clouds drift lazily by. Tom, ever the tinkerer, experimented with underwater handstands. For the first time in days, the pool felt like a sanctuary, a place of pure, uncomplicated joy. A shadow fell over the edge of the pool. Lily sat up, ready for another confrontation, but it wasn't what she expected. Mrs. Crabtree stood at the edge of her yard. A small, almost hesitant wave directed their way. A hint of a smile played on her lips. She didn't approach the fence, didn't yell, didn't do anything except offer that small gesture of acknowledgement. Lily returned the wave, a feeling of unexpected peace washing over her. Maybe, just maybe, things were finally starting to change. Tom surfaced, wiping water from his eyes. "Did Mrs. Crabtree just wave?" Lily nodded, a genuine smile spreading across her face. "I think she did."